Okay, hi, welcome. All right, I was just throwing some knuckles with Smacky McSmackums there. Week 28, day 1. Okay, I haven't followed up on what I've been doing, but just to let you guys know, yes, I've been at this for over 6 months now, and yes, I have seen some gains. I haven't done the 6-month photos. I'm 2 weeks overdue, but that's okay. I mean, I'm going to put together for you guys my workout routine. But it changes. Right now I'm doing what I call the cheat workouts, where I come in, I do one set of everything. That's all I do. One set of everything. But it's a really long set till it burns and I can't do it. And I only do it once a week during this time of year. Right now I got too much stuff on my plate. I can't do the 3 days a week. Once I'm done the wood, I'll probably go back to 2 or 3 days a week. As far as the boxing thing, little change of plans, something that's interesting. It's going to depend on what my cousin's doing. But if you follow my channel, you know my cousin that plays bass in the Beyond Driven band that I always end up going seeing? Well, he's a jiu-jitsu instructor. He's got multiple belts for multiple different things. And he might be doing something this winter, through the winter in Ladysmith, which is about a half an hour, almost 40-minute drive from here. And if I can swing it, I might do that. I'd rather take European martial arts and boxing, but I definitely respect the Japanese martial arts too. He's getting into like Bushido, Aikido, all the weapon ninjutsu, all that. He's going to be into all that stuff too, so I don't know what he's going to teach. If he's just going to teach jiu-jitsu, that stuff. But either way, it's close. It'll probably be relatively cheap, so it might be something I might be jumping in on. So I would like to have kind of like 3 workouts a week and working with something like that. Like for me to box there, that's great. But until I can spar with somebody in a ring somewhere, you really can't grow. You have to test yourself that way. I mean, I'm not going looking to get myself killed or hurt anybody or like that. That's not my reasons for doing it. Me, it's more about the skill and everything like that. Mind you, if you're competing, that's a different story. When competing, yes, you are trying to knock the other guy down. You might not necessarily be trying to kill him, but you're definitely trying to win, right? So there's that. But this is a different thing where you get to spar, you get to learn a lot of martial arts and stuff like that. And I mean, medieval European martial arts just isn't in my area. The closest is in Ottawa, and that's pretty far on my income. Like, this is something that, I just can't do, although I've been wanting to do it for years, but it's like anything, money and time, and the time isn't really my problem, it's the money right now. You guys know I'm constantly whining about it, but if I could swing it, that'd be great. But I know if my cousin does do the other thing up there in the next couple of weeks or a month or so, it might be October, November before he starts, but I told him to keep me posted, and if I can go a couple of nights, that'd be great. We'll see what kind of martial arts he'll be teaching, because he has, like I say, a bunch of belts in different things that he could teach. He's definitely got his whatever degree black belt to teach jiu-jitsu, and then there's another belt that he's got where there's only 2 belts. It's like a beginner belt and then a master belt, and it's a different thing. And he's got all these like little subcategories of belts, so he knows what he's doing, stuff like that. You can learn a lot from a guy like that for sure. And last time I was talking to him, a couple of weeks ago, he said he was thinking of doing that again, because it's one of those things that, and this is if you're going to be a martial arts instructor, your primary audience or clientele are going to be kids. That's your primary clientele is going to be kids. So if you're in an area that has lots of children, chances are you're going to have a lot of kids doing karate for 2 or 3 weeks, and then another batch of kids come in, and then you get a couple that stick with it. Probably out of, I don't know, I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out there, but probably for every 1,000 kids that take karate, maybe 2 stick with it for life. You know what I mean? My cousin, he took jiu-jitsu when he was younger. I think he might have taken karate too, but he took jiu-jitsu. He only specializes in Japanese martial arts, no Chinese martial arts or anything like that. For me, well, jiu-jitsu is kind of a mixed martial art, sure, but he does like the mixed Japanese martial arts. And you're gonna kind of get that, like, so for example, having one guy that knows karate versus a guy who knows kung fu. Well, kung fu is a total different thing, right? So it's kind of like you kind of pick a discipline, because you're going to you have to remember all these different methods and styles and the terminology. So if you're caught between two foreign languages between Chinese and Japanese, trying to figure out, it's going to mess you up, right? But there are some people that they'll take on anything. Personally, I like the Muay Thai stuff. That's pretty cool stuff. But again, it's just a different spin-off. And there's a lot of crossovers. Even with European medieval martial arts, a lot of people say, oh, they're ripping off the Japanese, blah, 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 and judo and stuff like that. No, it's just body mechanics. It's like, how to flipping a person over. The style between European martial arts and the style between Asian martial arts is not really that many. You're going to grab the guy and you're going to honk him over your shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to lay the guy out, put him on the ground or whatever. Wrist locks are going to be wrist locks. Again, there's just human body mechanics that are going to develop through these different martial arts. But Asian martial arts are always easy to find. Like, especially I remember back in the 80s and 90s during the ninja craze. I got to do a video about ninjas too. The ninja craze. Yeah, I mean, you had basically a pizza shop, a bank, then a dojo, then some sort of clothing shop, another pizza shop, a bank, and then a dojo. That was like every business, every place in the city was like every second, third place was because everybody wanted to learn these martial arts, right? I mean, this is pre Xbox era where kids used to go outside and stuff like that. And, then you had movies like American Ninja and Karate Kid. You had Chuck Norris types out there and all that. But bottom line is, yes, I'm in week 28. No, I have not missed a week in 28 weeks of working out. But mind you, the 3 days a week I stopped doing that I'll be honest with you, around week 17, 18. So about 10 weeks ago, I started going down to 2 to 1 day a week. Plus with all the stuff I got going on, I got, that new little job kind of popped up. And I usually do 2 days a week there. So it's not like I'm not active. Like right now I'm into the sawing up wood, with the chainsaw and stuff like that, and the cant dog, which should be called a cant dog, because you're moving logs that are like 4,000 pounds, and you're just rolling them over or whatever, jamming them up and cutting them up and all that. Trust me, don't worry, I'm getting my full body workout. I'm going to sleep well tonight. So I did a lot of sawing today, but the thing is that every about 5 to 10 weeks I want to change it up. But there's a huge difference between the week I started and now. And what I want to do, particularly guys that are like 40 plus, that have more of a spare tire than I do. Right now, I don't have a spare tire. I'm starting to see the split down here. Yes, you will see my magnificent body pretty soon. I'm starting, all my tones are coming back, like when I was so you get some light on this. Yeah. Get my Mr. Universe shadows here. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea there. Anyway, so I'm getting all that. All the muscles, they're coming out. They're starting to define. My weight. Okay, I do believe I haven't measured my arms yet of how much I've gained. I don't know if I've gained that much, maybe about an inch or so, but the definition is where I really gained. I did a lot of barbell stuff, and here's my workout here that I normally stick with. This I found was a really good full body workout. But like anything, you got to change it up from time to time too. I put a lot of stuff here. Maybe I don't have my numbers. Oh, is that? Looking at real bad handwriting, so that's got to be mine. Anyway, but I can go back. You can go back and look at my very first few videos and see what my arms were at and my waist and everything like that. I definitely lost a lot around the waist. I get compliments from time to time. We're like, "Oh my God, Reg, you really leaned out." But that happens to me every summer anyway. A lot of it has to do with lowering my sugar intake. Now, mind you, this time of year I'm sitting inside a little bit more because it's getting cooler out. I tend to put on, I tend to pack like a squirrel or a bear in the wintertime a bit. But I could see my toes, so I'm good. But more importantly, I can start to see my abs forming, and that's it's just a year from 1 year of working out is going to make a big difference. But what I'm telling you is that just 6 months has made a huge difference. I'm starting to get the V shape, all that husker. It's going away around the belly. Like it's starting to get tight around there. My legs are definitely good and toned. No, I don't use any sort of bodybuilding enhancers. Number one, I'm not working out consistent enough to burn that kind of stuff off. So I don't want to do bulk enhancers because I see what happens to every guy as soon as they stop to take it. They look like a sack of potatoes as soon as they stop taking it. And it seems like once you do it, you can't get rid of that flubber. You can't, well, maybe you can, but what I'm doing is starting a different type of, I'm more going for an athletic build anyway, rather than bodybuilder. So that's just me. You pick for yourself. But no, I don't take any steroids. I don't believe in it. I can understand the guys that do it for aesthetic reasons, for competitions. But, there's a lot of guys that are dying in their 20s just to, compete. I mean, that to me is, number one, it's foolish. Kind of goes, like, they're not really healthy, like they're taking these steroids and they're not, synthol and all that stuff. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe people do stuff like that. But, cosmetic surgery, synthol, it's the same sickness it's not about health at that point, it's about vanity, right? And I can understand that, but there's something to be appreciated by a natural body. You know what I mean? That said, whether you're not the biggest, but it's just like, okay, that's all natural. There is an appetite to competition in there. And I mean, there's nothing more impressive than seeing somebody that you've probably seen this, guy there, this Marine, who knows if he takes steroids or not, but he's sitting there doing one-arm pull-ups, full body, just off a bar like that. Like, I mean, that is impressive. But this is a guy that's probably been working out since he was a teenager, never quit. So you're not going to be at that guy's level. There's other guys where, they have like what I call like the Brandon Lee kind of look, where they're, Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee kind of look, where they're petite kind of, but they're just completely muscles on top of muscles. Pretty much zero body fat. More of an athletic build, but yet muscular enough. And then you got the other guys that are just really bulky, and everybody's body is different. So some guys are going to be a little wider in the shoulders and everything. I tend to be a bit more of a slimmer guy, more of going for like, say, a Jason Statham look or like a Chuck Norris or young Chuck Norris look. Where you still have that kind of husky, redneck kind of look to you, but yet you're muscly, you know what I mean? You look like you just work. So that's more what I'm going for, rather than going for, extreme, anything extreme. So no, my diet is still pretty poor. I still eat the same crap I eat. Yes, I still have too much sugar in my diet. I eat Pepsi. It is what it is. I guess that's my heroin, that's my cigarettes, that's my weed, that's my crutch, right, is that. But I can kick it out just about any time I want, mind over matter. But yeah, you do go through withdrawals if you stop drinking soft drinks. I don't drink Red Bull. I can't drink it. My heart will explode. I drank a bottle of Jolt once, and it's like the thing was the shape of a battery. I drank it. My heart was fluttering for 2 days straight. I was terrified. I thought, and I've never been so exhausted. When my heartbeat finally calmed down, it was like, because I'm a pretty high energy person to begin with, but when my heartbeat finally calmed down, I was so exhausted. I'm like, no wonder everybody's going mental in society drinking these things. I mean? Oh yeah, it's just like, well, my adrenaline was just like, but it was just like, I was like convulsing. I was like, this stuff is just too much for me. Pepsi's bad enough. Coca-Cola is bad enough. That's about as magnum load as I can go for that. I can't drink Red Bull. I can't drink that stuff. I'll go ballistic. Like I literally, my heart will be fluttering. My body temperature goes up like 10 degrees. I swear to God, it maybe not that high, but it feels like it is. Like I literally, it's like, holy geez, what the hell are they putting in that stuff? And you get people to drink 4 or 5 of those a day. Ouch. But yeah, I did cut out Pepsi there was a good month or two that I quit altogether. and I lost a lot of weight. But let me tell you about my, for me, I wouldn't care if I was the same weight or not. It's just, it's a byproduct of me working out that I'm getting more muscle density. So, my muscles are now feeding off the whatever as I put into my body. It's like it's feeding off of that. And it's also fed off my fat a bit, but also most of my fat comes from the sugar intake. Sugar is our enemy. That's I know it. I'm not trying to be over preachy here, but we know it's not good for us. So here's what happened. About 3 years ago, when I started doing my driver's license in town, which that area just got wiped out by a tornado yesterday. 2 tornadoes. It was bizarre. My old high school, I think it got hit too. Amazingly nobody killed anyway. But anyway, when I was in my 20s, I ended up getting as heavy as about 245. Why? Well, I was working 3 jobs. I went from 145 pounds to about 100 pounds heavier from my early 20s to about my mid 20s. The reason being, eat grease every night of the week, you know what I mean? All kinds of sugar and stuff like that. And then once I started getting motorcycles, I didn't walk as much, all that stuff. Started putting on the pounds. One of the main things that makes you gain weight is a vehicle. I've even went up a bit just by now driving around a bit more. But that I still skateboard and do all that stuff. And, I'm still doing this. So it kind of offsets it. So I was 245 pounds. I never cared about my weight. Didn't matter. I still thought I was, the girls still like me, so I was like, okay, well, I'm a little husky, but who cares, right? The women still like me. And then, financial hits and stuff like that. Okay, so I couldn't indulge as much. I think most of my body weight in my mid-20s was from beer. Yeah, that's probably, because my friend, he's drinking a little bit too much there now, and I notice that he's ballooning up. It's all the yeast, all that preservatives in there. Beer will do that to you, and it's not healthy for you. So when I got into my 30s, I kind of went down. I wasn't drinking as much. Not that I was an alcoholic or anything like that, but it's like, oh, your friends are going out for dinner. Okay, you go out and you meet them and you have a couple of drinks. I mean, I've always been a sociable person that way. I still am overly sociable. Like now that I'm doing the jam nights and stuff like that, it's like I go there, I don't drink a drop. I drink 2 things of Coca-Cola, like 2 cans of Coke. That's my wild night on the town. Why? Because number one, I don't want to drink and drive. I don't want to make that a habit. Oh, I'll just have one drink. Next thing you know, one drink turns into 10, and you're drinking and driving. You end up killing somebody or yourself, or losing your license. At best case scenario, you just lose your license, not your life. So yeah, I just don't like. I don't need to entertain that idea. I don't need to push that boundary. It's not going to do anything good for me. And it's not going to do anything good for anybody else either. So, 245 pounds, up from 145 pounds in my 20s, early 20s, late teens, early 20s, 145 pounds to 245 pounds by the time I get to my mid-20s. Then, some financial hits or whatever. I moved back up home for a bit. Of course, mom's cooking. Didn't do much for my waistline except for make it bigger because, God bless my mom there. Miss her every day. But, I really miss that cooking. Oh, guys, it was easy to stay heavy with that guy. Oh, everything was so good. One too many, a million not enough, Mom's cooking. So anyway, I did that. But then by the time I was in my early 30s, I guess because the job I was doing at the time was comfortable enough that I was, I was working indoors, right? But it was comfortable enough that I wasn't killing myself, but standing all day in work boots, lifting the odd heavy thing. I brought my weight down to about 190-ish or whatever. And then not too long after that, I started kayaking and sailing. Next thing I know, I'm about 184. And I stay at 184 for forever. Like I say, from about my mid-20s, I hit that peak. And then, as I get to my 30s, I'm down to about 180 or whatever. I'm starting to drop down a bit. And I stay at about 180 pounds forever and a day. And then about 3 years ago, when I started doing my driver's license, okay, I cut out Pepsi for just Pepsi. That's the only thing I changed in my diet. Just that, nothing else. I still eat like a pig. You know, like I'm like a bird. If I don't eat my body weight 4 times a day, I'll die, right? And I still eat the same stuff I eat. I haven't, you know, big dietary change. Just that one thing. 6 months, I go from 185 pounds down to about 170 something. 4 days after, I dropped 4 pounds within a week just from the cutting out the Pepsi. That's how much sugar is in that. So you get that into your head how much sugar that is. Okay? And I stayed at that about the, you know, mid to low 170s up until about 6 months ago when I started, or 28 weeks ago, when I started to work out. And so I started out about, say, 171 to 174 was my average weight. Okay, and then I've quit Pepsi a few times in between then and jump back on it, quit it, and jump back on it. You know, I go in spurts, right? Eventually, someday I'm just going to cut it out altogether. It just, you know, you got to keep trying, right? You got to keep trying. That's the whole thing. Keep trying. Then I dropped down to about the 160s. Okay, so I'm like 169, 168 by early summer. Working out 3 days a week, and then once my muscles started to form, I noticed that my body weight went down a lot. And then I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks where I didn't touch a Pepsi at all. I dropped down to like 163, 162. Guys, I feel like I do when I was 15. It's that weight. You probably saw the commercial about this guy's, he's like 50 or whatever, and he does these funny things where he pretends to be like a grandpa, and he grabs like 250 pounds and pushes it over his head, and then he takes off his shirt, and he's like, you know, he's all chiseled out, and all the chicks are all freaking out because he's so hot, and, you know, but yet he's all, you know, salt and pepper up top or on the sides and nothing on top, you know. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, and it's all natural. But one thing they did talk about, I mean, just a little clip, that the number one factor, now whether this is true or not, I don't know, but I can contest to that your spare tire really kills your energy. The fat you carry around really drains you because it's dead weight. It is literally dead weight when you think about it, right? So the less fat you have on yourself, that means your body's made up of more muscle, meaning it's more usable, right? Now, I do know you'll hit a stagnation if your biomass is out of whack. Like some people that go for 4% body weight or 4% fat or whatever, the ratio there. And I think they say healthy is around 23 to 24. Fat to muscle, whatever, density. But I think when you get too little of fat, your muscles start to eat themselves is the problem. So then you need something else to fuel that, right? So fat does serve a role, it does a role, no pun intended. But I do notice that when you get rid of the excess, yes, you will be doing pull-ups. I can do pull-ups and chin-ups now that I couldn't do. Dips, I'm starting to get better with the dips. Now, if I come in and I haven't done anything all day, and I come in and the first thing I do is dips and chin-ups, I can do, a reasonable amount of them. But can I do a lot of them? No, not yet. I think within a year's time, I'll be, it'll probably be about a year and a half before I can do one-arm dips or one-arm pull-ups and chin-ups and stuff like that. Those are really hard to do. But I do a little bit of calisthenics, a lot of weightlifting as well. And then, for the cardio, I got the bag and stuff like that. So I'm getting all those things in. And I'm trying to move it so that I don't just stagnate, that I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So when I do my... I'm going to wait till the weather gets more miserable, so to speak. And once I'm done, sawing up the wood and whatever, and I have, all day to film it. What I'm probably going to do is I'll do you the best production I can. I'll even bring in some lighting if I can. Just so you can see well, so that for some of you that might be wanting to start to work out too and you don't know what to start or where to start, I'll show you the easy way that I did it so that I kept motivated, that I haven't quit. First off, less is more. Don't try to overdo it. Problem is you get this guy comes in, he thinks he's going to bench press 150, 250 pounds right from day one. And maybe he can, but he can only do like 2 of them. And then it's like the next day he's so hurt and his back is out and all that stuff. And then he doesn't come back for 2 or 3 weeks. And then, okay, well, I'll go next week. Oh, well, I'll go next week. No, you force yourself to go. Even if you're like, okay, well, I've lost a bit of motivation. Well, go on the cheat ones I do. Come in, do one easy load of everything. Just one easy of everything. Then next week, you might be a little more motivated. And don't try to force it. Don't try to force it. So I'm like, okay, I'll come in. Okay, so I got a workout done in 15 minutes. Okay, enough to say that I did everything. Okay, I'm not going to see great gains from that, but it's enough to keep everything toned up. You know what I mean? But then, last week, I came in and I was here for like over an hour. And I added on so many new things, you know. It's like, so it's kind of like the goal that I'm going for is that it's consistent, that I'm doing it all the time, but also too doing the same exercises week in, week out. Number one, you'll stagnate. You need to target different muscle groups different ways at different times. I understand that too, and again, I'm not a fitness expert. I'm just a guy that's noticing for myself. But I also understand too, when you change it up every couple of weeks, it becomes new again. And maybe 1 day a week is more than enough for you. If you're not competing on it, you're making this, you're not thinking, okay, well, where am I going to be in a year? You're thinking, okay, well, between now and the day I die, whatever that's going to be, hopefully not sooner, hopefully later than sooner, what kind of effect is this going to have on me? Well, if I keep doing it every week, well, I'm going to be eventually getting stronger over time, whether you're working out 3 days a week, 1 day a week. It's just, you're going to get stronger over time. So there's no rush, no worry type of thing. Now that said, what is this going to do to me when I start taking a martial art or something like that, which again, I don't have a lot of money. But I don't know, lately I've been going on a katana kind of craze. I got rid of my katana swords a while back, but I didn't have a functional katana. It was just those, the set of 3. But I was practicing, at home, some of the, the proper way to draw the sword and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm still more of a fan of medieval European swords and that kind of fighting style. But you really need somebody, like with all these things, you need somebody to spar with, to really utilize how these techniques work and stuff like that. But to be able to spar, you have to be in good enough shape to be able to be flexible enough to not hurt yourself while you're doing this. Skalgrim, I check out his channel every night. Sometimes he puts out some really cool stuff with the sparring, but look at how many times that guy's gotten hurt. And a lot of it, when you spar, you can get hurt. And sparring doesn't necessarily mean, full contact all the time. Like you could spar and okay, well, I'm working on the technique, but it's like you can't understand the technique until you see it, used against an opponent in such a way. So you can do things. You can spar at different levels the same way you can work out at different levels, but you still need to be healthy enough to do this. It's the same with the boxing. You can put on the headgear and the mouthpiece and all that stuff. Spar, okay, well, we're going to go for hits, but we're not going to try. You're not going to go all beaten to a bloody pulp by the end of the evening. No, the goal is just to work out how to do things. That's more what I'm after. Where okay, I got a good workout. Okay, maybe it's sword fighting one night. Maybe it's martial arts the next night. Whatever. Okay, this is how you put somebody on the ground. This is how you lay them out. Okay, maybe it's boxing the night after that. The following week or whatever. And maybe it's a workout the night after that. Like the bag is great for building dexterity and building the strength in your punches, but it doesn't really do much for you when the thing isn't hitting you back, right? So it doesn't work on those other senses of where you're really going to use it. So that's why I want to be in shape when I do that, because I know, my hand's pretty fast. I can, if I need to lay somebody out, I can do it. But I also understand too that I'm not doing this because I want to hurt people or I'm going to go around looking for fights. No, I respect the martial art the same way I respect the the working out and exercising and all that, because I'm doing it for better self-improvement. I'm not doing it for competition. I think once you get into it for competition, you have a different mindset. I think if you're doing it for self-improvement and it leads you into competition, I think that's okay too. And I noticed something where, like, my brother, he took karate years ago. And when he took karate, like, he didn't stick with it for very long, but he really liked it. And but he had some problems with his tendons. So they had to get him like special footwear and stuff like that because his tendons were too short. And he had to do all these other exercises and stuff like that. And eventually, these martial arts are expensive for parents to have kids in and stuff like that. My cousin, he's a bit of he's not trying to get rich off of it. So like he gives people a good deal and stuff like that. But one thing I'd be looking at is even if he wants to use me as a human guinea pig or whatever, okay, this is how you do, and then he could present his techniques and stuff like that, and his way of learning stuff, and I'd love to get that stuff on video too. I think would be fantastic. But we'll see. Again, not everybody wants to be on video, so I understand that too. I don't think my cousin's shy like that, but he takes it very seriously that he would be probably more likely not to do it on video because he wouldn't want to insult the arts if he got something wrong, And that's the kind of mindset that I like, is that where you're in it for the craft. You know what I mean? You're in it for the perfection of the craft. That, you're waiting for a master to tell you that, okay, we can see eye to eye now, and you've earned your way there. Okay, I'm now competent to display. Because you got to think of that, like, especially for the Asian martial arts. It's different than the European ones. The European martial arts, I mean, they're starting to get, in the past decade or so, really, really big, the European martial arts. But it was all these guys that just, okay, well, let's see if we can figure something out with these manuscripts and go like that. So it's like, it's not, nobody takes insult if your form isn't perfect, where the Japanese, they've never lost it. They've never given up, or even the Chinese, they've never given up their tradition of learning how to do that from the time they can walk to till the day they die. So they have a different mindset towards their martial arts. And when outsiders do their martial arts, they definitely, they can take insult to that. And it doesn't mean anything. I don't know. You tell me. But I know for some people, for myself, if it's a part of my heritage and stuff like that, and I seen somebody else botcherizing it, if that's a word, botching it. Yeah, I might take offense to that. And the offense isn't that you botched it. The offense is that you're so arrogant that you didn't care about the other person's culture and the nuances of how to do things, to take the time to learn how to do things right. So, yeah, there's that. Now, with the medieval martial arts, give it another 10 years, it'll be like that, where, no, this is how we do it. This is the Italian way, this is the German way, this is the French way, this is the English way, this is the Scottish way. And they will take it to a more serious level as it gains more popularity, just kind of the same way it did in the 80s and 90s in North America, where the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s was importing like guys like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and stuff like that, and a bunch of other guys that came in, and it was all these crazy martial arts that they did, especially early Jackie Chan movies. If you ever see him dancing on the pots while he's fighting the guy like that, and it's not CGI. This is a guy dancing around on pots, trying not to get hit by another guy. It's phenomenal to watch. Bruce Lee, when, again, same thing. A lot of the stunts are real, it's like, okay, that's pretty awesome, and stuff like that. So you can appreciate that. The European martial arts, they never been represented properly. So in Hollywood and stuff like that. So people think it's just a bunch of guys trying to smash through, logs with a dull sword, a dull edged stick, you know what I mean? Like a crowbar with edges or whatever. But that's not how the Europeans fought at all. The Europeans were in some ways more advanced than the Asian stuff in a lot of ways. Number one, in metallurgy, you had so many different sword types. You had so many different, styles of fighting. Like, for example, the German stuff, is pretty technical, how they fought with swords and stuff like that. The Talhofer stuff, whatever. It's dirty fighting. But if you look at the Italian stuff, or the Flori style, whatever. That stuff always ended up where you use the sword to distract the guy long enough to kick him in the nuts, so you put him on the ground so you could whack the crap out of him with the, and it was really dirty, but it was really technical, Same with the Spanish stuff. Every Spanish move, pretty much with a sword, if you're actually trying to kill the guy, you use the sword just to basically to distract the guy long enough to like knee him or elbow him or whatever. It's dirty, dirty, dirty fighting, but it's highly effective if you're trying to kill somebody on a battlefield. You know what I'm saying? That's what those martial arts were. And they were very, very technical and very, very detailed. And people are just starting to figure that stuff out now. Now, the thing is I want to start something like that, but again, finding the people to do it, finding the place to do it, especially with long swords, I mean, you can't use them in here, you take out the lights, you know what I mean? And winter's coming, so you need a high ceiling, you need a dojo to do that, but all the dojos are pretty much Asian martial arts. But sometimes they'll, to bring in more people, they can bring in more people. Like the closest medieval martial arts in that to me is in basically at Algonquin College in Ottawa, and it's a big gymnasium. So there's guys that fight in full body armor, metal body armor and stuff like that. Very, very fascinating, but it's too far away for me. It's too bad because that's what I'd really like to get into. But again, to get into that, so you do it so that you're not hurting yourself, you got to get into better shape. Same with the boxing stuff. There's quite a few boxing things in my area, but the problem is they're all it's like $1,000 membership a year, that type of thing, and you want to come and try it out for a night. Okay, fine. We'll come and give you a couple of lessons, $25 for the like a 2-hour session or something like that. So it's like it's just not. The common man can't do that, you know what I mean? It requires, not so much that it requires so much commitment, it just requires too much capital to do if you have other things on your plate, And I understand, these people are business owners, they got to keep the lights on, it's going to cost money. So the memberships are expensive. So I understand that too. Like here, it's $5 a month. It's probably going to, but because it's $5 a month, that's why we got like 2 dressers and all this stuff moved out of the way. And we got although that's a nice little set of chairs there, nice little leather set of chairs there. It's just get crowded in. Now, while the weight equipment is getting crowded in here, look at this. Look at this, right on the dumbbells. I don't know if you can read that or not. Please do not block the aisles. I had them out like a little bit here so they were easier to grab. I had them out about here. And they have boxes usually piled up to here. What it is it's the all this stuff here. They have a yearly yard sale and whatever, and they store it down here. So it's a storage space that just happens to have weight room equipment in it. However, there is rumors that we may be getting a new weight room. I'll believe it when I see it. That could be years away. I'm the only member right now. But my other cousin, was talking to me about working out. I said, yeah, well, let me know. And I said, it's only $5 a month. I'd love to have a second guy down here to work out with because we could do more. You know what I mean? It would be safer. Whatever. Some of my other friends, one, she's like, well, I'd like to do that too if it's only $5 a month. I said, yeah, but I said, depends what you want to do. I said, if you want to do like yoga or something like that, there isn't really the room down here to do it. So it would be better for, I guess I better wrap this up pretty soon, but it would be better, like there's a lady out in Kaz, the next town over, that does yoga and stuff like that. But that's all they do there is yoga and Pilates and stuff like that, which is fine. But there's no martial arts there. There's no weight room there, maybe there's little dumbbells and stuff like that. But you get the idea where it just, you make do with what you got. But this gym here, man, this gym is more than adequate to what I need. And I just hoping that if I'm going to break my workout stuff into 3 categories, what I would do is, number 1, just strength training and regular weights and stuff like that. The second thing I would like to do, obviously, is some sort of martial art. And then third, who knows? Leave that day open for, say, skiing. I mean, that's going to be coming around. I didn't get to go golfing once this year. I just didn't have the finances to do it. But I'd like to go skiing this year. I don't care if I'm broke. I'll scrape out. I'll do without just to do it. You know what I mean? Why? Because number 1, I like socializing, and number 2, I like those kind of activities. But it'd be nice to have kind of like an outdoor activity once a week that you do, whether it's cycling, swimming, skiing, running, whatever it is. Running is not my thing, but I feel, and this is going to be kind of funny, but I feel like I can run now, whereas my knees don't hurt like they were 6 months ago. And I think that's I lost 20 pounds. I went down to 150. A couple of weeks ago when it was really hot, I went down to 149. Yeah, I went down to 149. I've been staying around 156 to 159, 161. I'm up a bit this week because I've been, I ate a little bit more sugar intake and stuff like that. But that's how much weight has come off. So basically I lost 40 pounds in over 3 years, not really trying. Now imagine if I tried. And again, I don't want to be 145 pounds skeleton. If it's a healthy 145 pounds, fine. If it's not a healthy, I don't feel unhealthy. I don't feel like I'm malnourished. I don't feel energy, definitely don't feel energy drained. I got tons of energy. That's good. Now, mind you, I am 45, so there's that 45-year-old kind of drop in weight that you get. It's like your muscle mass and your bone density start going a bit downhill at those at those ages for both men and women. So keep that in mind too. Age could have a little bit into it. Maybe it's just time for me to shed the weight. You know what I mean? But I don't think so. I think a lot of it has to do with the lifestyle change of trying to be a little bit healthier. And hopefully, again, I'm not trying to, sell it to you guys as you need to do what I'm doing or else you're a bunch of crap or whatever. No. What I'm saying is there's a benefit to it. If you want to ease into it, the easiest way to get into it, here's what I did. Maybe this will work for you. Maybe it won't. But I know when I do the video, I'm pretty sure you guys will appreciate. It's like 14 to 16 exercises that you can do within 45 minutes. You could probably do most of them from home. And you could do it at whatever level you want. And I go with the idea of work your way up to things. Become a master at it. So for example, if you go up in weight and you find it's too much, go down on the weight for a week or so. Then go back up. Then go back down and go back up. And then what you'll find over time, and that's what I'm finding now, is that you go up a bit and then you come down a bit. And then you go up a bit and you come down a bit. Because you do find that, especially if you're working out 2 or 3, 4 days a week, that after a while it seems like you just don't have the energy. It's like your muscles haven't had enough time to really relax. Whereas when you work out 1 day a week, when you go in the gym, you're like, bring it. You know what I mean? You've got all this energy because your muscles have had all that time to relax. Unless you've been using a chainsaw all day, or shoveling goat poop or something like that. Yeah, that'll you're getting your workout there. You know what I mean? Especially when it's like 30 degrees out or 38 degrees out, you don't really want to be doing that stuff. But right now, especially now that the weather's getting cooler, when the weather gets cool, I tend to have tons of energy. I guess it's my thick North American blood or whatever. I tend to run a little on the warm side, so I tend to like the slightly cooler air we're getting now. Whatever I find I could do more. I just But yeah, today, it's the 28th week that I've been doing this. I haven't missed a week. I'm going to do these kind of cheat workouts for maybe about another 2 weeks. That'll bring me up to the 30th week. And then I'm going to probably bring in something new. I know what I wanted to do was the 6-month time lapse of, here's what I look like in the first week. Here's what I look in this many weeks later. I don't know if obviously it's Sunday right now, so it'll be week 29 before I can get those out. So I'll be 3 weeks late on those photos, which is kind of a bit of a cheat in a way. But what I wanted to do before I did the photos was do a power workout 3 days in a row and then take a day off and then, be all bulked up or whatever. But, I think it'll work out either way, whichever way we do. But I will get those photos. It will be on my blogger. And you can see, and again, you'll see it's not a huge improvement in the sense of, I don't go from Mr. Scrawny to Lou Frigno, but you can see that there is definitely effects. The effects are positive. And again, I feel better. I feel stronger. I definitely have more energy to do things. I would like to be able to do a few other things, such as, like I say, the martial art and stuff like that, where, I'd find that stuff would go more hand in hand, where you'd have the athletic build and building more strength so you can get more power into, punches and stuff like that. And then, of course, weaponology. I want to do all that stuff, but I want people to spar with, because, like you can throw things around and fight imaginary opponents and stuff like that with swords or knives or whatever, and that's always cool, but you get the actual training swords or whatever, or daggers or knives or whatever, and do that. You can really see how it works, and you can just, go through it and work on it, hone the skills, where you could just work on it with other people, so that you can, multiple different opponents. No two people are going to attack you the same way. You know what I mean? So it'd be good to be able to do that stuff, so that, yes, you have the skills for self-defense, but now you have the power, to back it up. You can, if you need to put somebody on the ground, you have the strength to put them on the ground. You know what I mean? So I know not everything is always about strength, but putting strength behind stuff is always a good thing. For example, I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee, wasn't the strongest man on the planet, but he could put you on the ground because he knew how to do it. Now, Bolo Young was a very, very strong man on top of that, and he had the same skills as Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? So if you remember the Bolo Young, I don't know if the guy's still alive, but I'm pretty sure he was on steroids and all that stuff. But he fought like Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movies and stuff like that. He was this kind of like legendary Asian bad guy in a lot of movies, and no neck, just big frickin' burly guy, but really, really extremely crazy strong. Or there was another guy that was really terrifying, and he was actually a martial artist, Tong Po. This guy was like scary looking, just like he was in the Van Damme movies too, but he was an actual real life kickboxer, and I mean the guy was like 6'5". Had that single ponytail. Just a scary, scary looking dude. Strong, powerful, with mad skills. I mean, a guy like that could kill you pretty quick. So if you ever got attacked by a guy like Bolo Young or Tong Po, you would have to be, the shape of your life to be able to hold off a guy like that. And probably mad skills and a lot of luck, because like that's the thing. When they got the skills and the strength, like I say, it's just a plus. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's what I got going on. I know there's a long update, but I have an update. I meant to do it a couple of weeks ago, but I got so busy trying to survive there that with the other job going on, and then getting the vehicle and all that, and getting the wood all settled up for the winter. And so getting all that all settled up, my goal was basically to make a really detailed video about a good beginner workout that would hopefully keep you motivated long enough to keep doing it. Now, let's say you're 350 pounds, okay? 6 months after, how much weight are you going to lose? I don't know. I think your diet's going to dictate more of how much weight you're going to lose than how much you work out. But how much you work out, I don't think you're going to notice a weight drop right away from the working out. It takes a while to build the muscle before the muscles start doing their job against the body fat, right? So the more muscle you have, the more it's going to eat up that body fat on you. And the less body fat you have, the quicker the muscles can do it. But it takes time to get there, and you're not going to get there overnight. You're not going to get there right away. So don't look at it as, okay, well, in 6 months I'm going to be the same size as me or bigger or smaller. It's just you're going to be whatever you're going to be. What you need to look at it as is just how much is this a benefit long term. So don't rush at it. And that's the problem. Guys expect big, massive, gains right away. You got to be more cerebral about it than that. You got to think long term, not now, but like now to the day you die, right? Which you don't know. So it's something that you just keep putting in. Think of it like it's an investment in your health, right? So again, diet is probably going to make more of a difference in your weight than what working out will, but the working out really helps. It's a multiple thing. I do plan on improving my diet eventually. My diet isn't horrible. It could be better. It could be better. I have a typical North American, diet. I don't use a lot of salt. I don't put butter on everything. The big one for me is the sugar. Everything else, I do eat meat. I do eat, I don't eat a lot of eggs and stuff like that. It's just, I just eat normal stuff, that type of thing. I probably eat too many French fries. There's probably that. That's definitely a thing. But I don't think I eat like super, super unhealthy. And my proportions are, whatever they're going to be. Like if I eat spaghetti, I eat way too much spaghetti. I eat like rice and spaghetti, I eat just too much of it when I eat it. But that stuff doesn't really stick to you as much as you think. The rice, there's nothing in rice, you know what I mean? But, like anything, you can't just eat that. And I know there's a lot of starch in the pasta, which will, that will keep your weight up if you eat pasta every day. Yeah, sure. I love pastas, like spaghetti and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. That stuff isn't 100% healthy for you. But it's not bad for you either. You know what I mean? It's like everything in moderation. Pork chops, stuff like that, steaks, yeah, I eat that all the time. My perfect healthy meal is a thing of potatoes, a little bit of, say, peas or corn or whatever, a little bit of a salad, and then a nice cooked pepper steak. That is like the ultimate. You got everything there that you need. Yeah. But for me, no, I'm not doing it from, oh my God, my weight high. I don't even care. It's just, oh wow, hey, that's interesting. I went this, I dropped this much in weight just over this period of time. But I'm not really any smaller. Like what it is, and something that happens, what they say happens too, is that you will find that your weight will go down and then your weight will go up because muscle is more dense than fat, right? So, and it freaks out women more than it freaks out guys. Because most women are doing it to work out to lose weight. Like they're obsessed with weight rather than shape and are you healthy, So what ended up happening is you lose all this fat and you drop in weight. But then you start gaining muscle and the muscle's more dense and it's heavier. There's a girl, she's like a complete, absolute health nut. She looks fantastic. She's always working out with her and her two little sons there. It's always funny watching them trying to mimic while she's doing push-ups and stuff like that. And they're doing their push-ups and little kids. It's the cutest little thing. But anyway, she was like, she goes, you might not believe it, but I was, where she was a little bit bigger before she started really working out. She was like 165 pounds. Now she's like 175 pounds. But yeah, she's like super, super trim and sexy and, everything like that. Like, you really should see the health of this girl. Like, it's like, wow. Maybe she's taking a little bit overboard, obsessive. Like, I find some people tend to do that with the working out, or they work out too much. But then, if they're eating healthy, they're running, they're doing all this stuff, and they really like it, I don't mind that, as long as it doesn't take to an obsession where they're doing unhealthy things to their body. Like, gaining muscle is never really unhealthy if it's done naturally. And like hers, like she's not taking steroids and all that stuff. She's just, a health nut. So I can see her becoming a fitness instructor or something like that, right? Where that's healthy, you know what I mean? Like, that's healthy. There's no problem with that. I don't know what else I could say, but you get the idea of what I'm getting at. That it's like for some people, they're doing it for the weight, and they have this number in their head. For me, I don't care what the number is, as long as I'm healthy. If I'm losing weight and I'm turning into a skeleton, no, that's not healthy. If I'm lost weight, but yet I can still lift a tree trunk and lob it over the frickin' over a bunch of pile of logs, and I still got like tons of piss and vinegar to burn on top of that, then I'm good. I don't care. As long as I have energy, as long as I'm healthy, that's all I care about. As long as my heart rate's good, as long as my my joints ain't hurting, whatever, as long as everything is functioning, you know what I mean? Like you don't care. But something to, I guess I'll just end on this. I know I said that a couple of times, but once you get rolling on these videos, right? One thing too is that I do have to start. It's a problem with everything, money, time, healthcare system, taxation, all that stuff. I won't get too political, but it's really hard to get a doctor in Canada. It really is, especially if you don't have immediate health problems. When you're a guy like me where they'll look at you and say, well, you dying? No, okay, come back later. I've been waiting for a family doctor for 30 some odd years now. No, I don't push it I got put on the list, so I'm pretty sure I have to I put myself on the list like 4 or 5 times, and it's not going to happen, right? You get bumped off by somebody who's, I need help, I got, I'm a diabetic, I'm 620 pound obese, you know what I mean? Those people are going to get ahead of you, or got heart disease, whatever. Those people are going to get ahead of you, and I understand that. But you could still get, although you have to pay for it now, doctor checkup once a year. And when you get into your 40s, you should really start doing that. I myself will start doing that. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But go get a full checkup maybe once a year, maybe even once every couple of years. But once a year would be ideal, just to make sure everything is good. Because even if you're working out and stuff like that, doesn't mean other problems can't arise. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know what else I can say. Yeah, I guess my skateboarding is coming to an end for the season. Motorcycling too is also coming to an end for the season. As the weather gets colder. So I'll probably get a few more rides out there. But also too, next year, what I would like to do is, if my money can kind of come up a bit, my income can kind of come back up again, one way or another. I do want to get into motorcycle racing, like I talked about. But you need to be in shape for that too. Plus, shedding a few pounds when you're on a bike, helps the bike accelerate a bit faster. If it doesn't have to, if you're, lug your heavy butt around the track or whatever. So there's that. So I got a lot of motivation to keep doing this. But like I said, even if you don't do it 3 days a week, do 1 day a week, whatever it is, but you're doing it over a period of time, you're going to get results. And I'll show you, I don't know when I'll have it out, but I'll show you the routine that I'm working. I'm pretty sure there'll be experts out there saying, oh, this is the worst routine ever, but it's an easy one to stick with. And it kind of covers all your bases in a full body workout. And I'll film it in sequence just so you can see what I can do with it, what you can do with it. And you could do spin-off variants if you don't have the access to the same equipment. But the exercises themselves I found were really effective for me. And it also got rid of a lot of duplicate exercises that were okay to do, but it was just like some of these exercises weren't really giving me anything more than this one. So it's like, I'll just do this one, and maybe you switch it up from time to time, and you can do that too. But you get the idea. That's what I was going to do. I was still going to do, just when do I get around to doing it? We'll see. But anyway, if you do start working out there, by all means, stick with it. Even if you have to dial it back a little bit, if you find you're losing motivation or something like that, and that will happen to everybody. I don't care who you are. Sometimes it's hard to do motivation. But the thing is there's 2 ways to lose motivation. There's lose motivation, you stop going, and you're still paying for a gym membership and all that stuff. You stop going. I'll go next week. And then after 3 months, I've been paying for 3 months for this gym, and I've only been there twice. You know what I mean? Okay, then you've given up. You need to go back to more basics where, okay, well, maybe I could. What's the biggest thing that's going to get people not doing it? Time. Time to go from work to home, eat, and then go out to a gym. You're going to give up on that probably pretty quick if you're not highly motivated. But maybe you go and instead of getting a gym membership, you go buy a couple of dumbbells and you do light workouts at home, and then maybe once a week you hit a gym for the full body workout or something like that. The idea is keep it as simple as possible so that you keep doing it. That's the whole thing. And then just keep doing it. If you do miss a week or you don't do a full 3 days or 4-day workout, that's a lot for a person to start off with. To tell you the truth, I'd even start off 2 days a week, 1 day a week. That's fine. That's fine, because then you're motivated the next time you go. Giving your body, the way I mainly did it was 1 day on, 1 day off, or 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on. But anyway, I got to wrap up. So anyway, you guys have yourselves a great day. Be true to yourself, be true to others. Always, always do the right thing. Have yourselves a great day, eh?